Well, good early morning to you. It is a little cold here in North Texas, but we are super excited to be up before the sun because today we're taking you to Tampa, Florida in the 2022 Florida RV Super Show. Join us.
Now my wheels in motion and my windows open with the wind blowing in my hair. I'm driving down the highway, gonna do this my way. I can feel it in the air. Here I go.
That was a very long first day of the fun Florida RV Super Show.
So this was our first time to attend the show, and we wanted to give you guys a couple of tips and maybe some things we wish we had known. And then after a bit, we'll kind of walk you through so maybe you get an idea for what it's like in person.
Yeah.
First question off the bat, should you go?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, and I couldn't agree more. But I think the caveat to that is you need to know why you're going.
Yes.
Because otherwise this is totally overwhelming. So a couple of just quick things. Wear your best shoes.
Oh.
This place is huge.
Not brand new shoes.
No, wear good shoes. Your feet will appreciate it. Drink plenty of water. It is Florida. It is warm. It is humid. It is sunny.
Be ready for everything. It'll be humid, hot, potentially raining, also cold somehow. Everything happens. So just be ready for it.
And I would say another kind of tip as far as first timers go, and maybe this goes for everybody, but don't be afraid to kind of step away. If it gets to be overwhelming, either physically or mentally or whatever it is, don't be afraid to just kind of go sit in a corner somewhere.
Right.
And everybody goes to sit in the RVs, so that is not your safe space.
No, there's actually some spots there's some indoor areas and there's some sitting areas. And so a couple of times during the entire show, we found a little snack and a drink and a water or a $17 soda. And we found some air conditioning and just kind of plopped somewhere in there to kind of recover and just get off your feet for a little bit. All right, the show itself and kind of the whole overview of it. And like Lauren said, there's a lot. So we're going to break it down in a few different sections.
So let's start with the main reason everybody comes to the show, and that's the
Popcorn.
RVs. Donuts?
RVs.
RVs, the rigs themselves. And it's easy to say there is something for everybody and every budget. So starting, as little as like the Lance camper things that go on the truck beds themselves.
Yep.
And they're not the only brand, there's, competitors and whatnot. So you have things like that. You have pop-ups. You have you have towables of every size, and so everything from little pods all the way up through your basic travel trailers, and then you can start getting into some really expensive and huge fifth wheels through your toy haulers.
Sure.
And so you can bring anything and everything you own. And then once you make it through all of those thousands of vehicles, you can go look at the motorized RVs.
Yeah, and again, everything from your little Class B hashtag van life.
Yeah, absolutely.
To your very, very expensive look, don't touch because you might have to buy.
By appointment only.
Prevos, so your marathon coaches, your Liberty coaches, that kind of stuff.
When your rig is good enough to be inside on the carpet with the fancy lighting and the red ropes,
multiple ropes. And signs that say by appointment only. Don't even glance at us. So, just like we said, you kind of have to have a game plan or a plan for what you want to accomplish the show. Once you know what you want to accomplish at the show, I would get a game plan on how to attack it logistically. Because I can tell you, we got turned around with map in hand and huge maps everywhere. We got turned around multiple times throughout the day because when you first get there, you're like, that's different. But after about an hour, they all kind of start to look the same, and it's just rows and rows and rows and rows. Looks like a cornfield to the Midwest of just RVs. And so you lose track of where you are sometimes. And it's not necessarily, it's marked when you're going into like the specific areas, but when you have to make a turn down an aisleway, it's not exactly marked all that well. So you really kind of need to have a game plan. What do you want to hit? So the map that they give you and post online and all of the above. And I will say the website had an interactive map feature that was really cool, so you could search for what you were looking for. So that's a nice little tool.
Yes.
I don't know if they've done that in years past, but they did it for this year. If you know, like for instance, we knew looking for our rig, little fast forward preview, we knew a couple of brands that we really wanted to check out. So we had a kind of a game plan for the rigs we wanted to look at. And so we had figured out where they were. And when we first walked in, we grabbed a tangible map we could hold because we like that. And we kind of went, okay, let's start here and here and go there. And then we kind of just made our little path.
So how is it organized? Is it organized by type of rig, by brand, by manufacturer?
Popcorn, still popcorn. No, although there's popcorn everywhere. So it's organized on the map by manufacturer. So you have like Grand Design, for instance, and then all their models beneath it. But each manufacturer is also partnered with whoever their dealer representative is in this area. So the Tampa,
Yes.
Florida, Central Florida. You're going to see signs for Lazy Days RV, which is right here in Tampa, General RV, which is also right here in Tampa. But again, these are nationwide brands too. You're going to see a lot of those brands all around, but it is still technically organized by brand and or manufacturer, right?
Absolutely. Now, I will say one of the really cool things is that you have the product representatives in a lot
Yes.
of these places too. And so you're not just talking to a salesman. Sometimes you can get some really good
Yeah.
product information from somebody who knows that well.
So to kind of wrap up the RV section of our overview, one little tip I would tell you too is if you're going down to actually purchase an RV, and we've talked about maybe doing a buying guide in the future, but I would tell you that just know you don't have to buy from the dealers that are there.
Right.
You can still buy from a dealer, like for us, for instance, we came from the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Mhm.
We can go back and talk to whatever dealers in our area, if it's not Lazy Days, for Grand Design or from anybody else, and you can still buy from them. Now, are they going to offer you show pricing? Maybe, maybe not. But just know you don't have to. There's a lot of emphasis put on show pricing, buy now.
There is.
And so don't feel pressured into that. If you do feel pressured into that, maybe take a step back and reassess. We did, and it worked out for us. We'll not leave that part out.
So once you make the lap once and you look at all of the towables, and then you make the lap again and you look at all the drivables.
And that doesn't include having the double backs for your missed turns.
For your missed turns, absolutely. So once you've done that and you're exhausted and all you've had all day is ice cream and pretzels,
That's the problem.
then you go into the expo halls and look at all of the accessories.
Halls, that was a plural,
Plural.
just in case you were.
Just in case you went there. There are 2 giant halls. Parts, accessories, campgrounds, RV resorts, tourist guides,
Gutters.
gutters. Did you ever even
There's always a
know?
gutter person. I don't know why.
Mattresses. The things that you didn't know you could buy for your RV, they're going to tell you about it.
So, as far as the accessories, we don't. If you own a rig, it's a great spot to kind of maybe get some good deals on a few things, especially if your rig is there. Obviously, for us, we are flying back. That's not exactly a tangible thing we can do. But one of the cool things we got to do, and this for us, is that Battleborn Batteries had a representative there. And I have had a ton of questions about lithium because down the road, once we finally get into a rig, I do potentially want to put a battery bank and solar panels up on the roof. But I had a bunch of questions about lithium, and so because they were there, and I feel sorry for this person I got a hold of.
Me too.
I grilled them with every question I could ever imagine because these guys actually work with or for Battleborn Batteries, so this is
Yes.
their job.
And this guy was delighted to answer all of
Yeah.
these millions of questions.
Right.
And there were a couple of the big manufacturers of these accessories. So you have a whole Lippert booth.
Yep.
You have Battleborn batteries. You have some of these really major components.
Yes.
And their job for 6 days is to talk to you and to answer all of your questions. So don't hesitate because we really learned a lot from doing
In fact,
that.
it could be a challenge. How long can you talk to a rep before they finally start to walk away or zone out?
Or until you get, whacked in the back with somebody on a
Like
scooter.
significant other. Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Losing Achilles.
One of the unique opportunities that we had that was kind of, I guess, the cherry on top was that we got to meet some of the YouTubers that we've grown to
Oh, yeah.
know through their channels, through these meet and greets. And it was,
I don't know why nobody was excited to meet us
'cause
or recognize us or any of that stuff.
44 people know us and 2 of them are mom.
45.
So we got to meet some of the YouTubers that we've known through their YouTube channels and who have been instrumental in our education. So as we learn, as we get ideas, and we watch them try things, and now we know what not to do. But really, they've given us a lot of inspiration, so it was kind of nice to shake their hands and say thank you so much.
Right.
And there were a couple of very specific questions that we had for a few of them that you probably aren't going to get a response on Instagram.
I'm going to go ahead and apologize publicly, I guess, to
Yes.
Corey from Finding Our Someday, because we went down the "Why'd you buy your grill" smoker? Because I really like to smoke and grill, and that's the one thing I was terrified about moving into an RV bell.
Yes, of all the RV questions you can ask, they talked about grills.
Yeah. So I think, yeah. And so, and more specifically, the people behind us who are waiting to talk to them, sorry.
But it was well worth it. We really enjoyed meeting them. And can I say that everybody here is friendly?
Yes.
Whether they know you or not, I mean, you can be strangers that are now your best friend. We had people going to look at other rigs for us to give us their opinions.
Forgot about that.
So, like, everybody was so friendly. The people that work here, the people that are visiting, the people that were at the meet and greets. It was so much fun because everybody was so pleasant. So this was our experience at our first ever really big RV show.
Right.
It was well worth the time and money to get here, I would say. We hope this helps you in some way, and if you have questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. We hope to come back, maybe with a different intent next year, show you a whole different side of the show. So yeah, we're so glad that we came. I hope this helps you, gives you some inspiration. And
if you want real-time updates on the stuff we're doing as well, make sure and follow us on Instagram or Facebook. It's just Millers in Motion. Again, all the links for that stuff's already in the description below. But yeah, you could have seen our live updates and some stuff that we can't put on YouTube as quickly or as easily, but you can kind of see us live making mistakes and doing things and getting lost in RV shows.
so on that note, I'll see you guys next weekend, Sunday at 5.
Bye, Mom.